of music and drumming. Not like, Zen Buddhist fire type meditation, everything organized and neat. No, like just wild ama. So they come in all body types, is my point. What other questions do you have around food and what we ate tonight? All 6 tastes were there. We'll go over the 6 tastes. Sweet, sour, salty.
Sweet, sour, salty.
Pungent, bitter, astringent.
Pungent, bitter, astringent.
Sweet, sour, salty.
Sweet, sour, salty.
Bring hana.
Bring hana.
Building. Pungent, bitter, astringent.
Pungent, bitter, astringent.
Langana.
Langana.
Lightening.
Lightening.
So, sweet, sour, salty.
Sweet, sour, salty.
That's what we want Anna to eat. And all Vata predominant people. Sweet, sour, salty. Everywhere I go in all the yoga classrooms across the country, I see lots of thin women that are salivarians or are on juice fasts. And they wonder like why they can't get pregnant, why their period doesn't come, they lost their period, why they're jittery, why the world is always so full of like, oh, I can't stand it out there. They have no membrane. There's no boundary. There's no wetsuit there. They don't have any buffering zone. They can feel like what you're thinking. They walk in a restaurant like something feels wrong. And they're like, I don't want to eat here, but they're like too nervous to say something with a group of people. So they eat there anyway, and then they get stomach pain. Like, we need the Vata people. They're the most subtle. You're like asking, like, how's it going? How's it going? They're like, I don't want to stay. And we should all leave with them. Am I making sense? So they need more sweet, sour, salty. They need to build up. They need to buck up. In yoga poses, we do this. So however you're doing, make muscles and draw in toward your spine. Go ahead. Use your feet. Use your arms. Use your belly muscles. Draw in toward your spine. That's what we want them to do. But most places you go to yoga, you're going to see these thin people getting twisted into more like advanced yoga postures, and they just get more pulled apart. No, we want to push on them, ground them, ground them. Sweet, sour, salty.
Sweet, sour, salty.
Building. Pungent means spicy. So there was pungent taste in the chutney. Some of you might have had even red chilies in your beetroot. Did you eat it and it tastes? You're not supposed to eat that. My wife kind of like, maybe it wasn't the best choice to put it in a red dish, but red chilies are really spicy. It's okay, like Michael can handle it. He can handle it, no problem. But if Subin eat red chili, too many red chilies, then she could get like migraine, or she could get sharp pain. The food will be fine. Like the food was well balanced, so it's not going to happen tonight. But I'm just giving you ideas. Using the people here. Pungent, spicy, bitter, or like all green foods are bitter. And astringent means it dries you up. Classic example of astringent is if you take herbs, like in a tea form, that's astringent. If you chew seeds, that's astringent. All nuts are astringent. Really dry you up. An unripe banana turns to chalk in your mouth. But the most astringent food I've ever had, do you know those hashiya? I didn't say it right. Does anyone know? I think it's a Japanese word. Persimmon, the bell pepper shaped persimmon. If you eat one of those and it's not ripe, it will take all of the water out of your entire mouth. Not the ones that look like a little apple. Those you can eat like kind of more raw. But the ones that look like a bell pepper, if you eat one of those and it's not ripe, it'll take all of the water out of you. Anyway, astringent taste we all need. Raw vegetables are astringent. They dry you up. So salad greens are astringent. There are some astringent things that we eat as Americans that are not eaten by any tribal people, like raw broccoli and raw cauliflower and raw cabbages. That's not to be eaten raw. It's too astringent and too rough. Now Americans grow up eating it, like even as kids, but it's part of the reason why we have so many gastrointestinal disorders in America. We have more, my Ayurveda guru, he said, USA has more diverticulosis, more diverticulitis than any country on earth. Diverticulosis is when you get pockets in your colon, and diverticulitis is when they get inflamed. A lot of reasons you can get that. Yeah, a lot of reasons you can get, but definitely, we also don't eat beans well. So beans are really astringent. So when you eat beans, which we love vegetarianism because it's very sattvic, a clear, pure quality. Meat is really rajasic. It brings passion and drive. But it prevents people from feeling the more subtle layers to existence. And because Ayurveda is ultimately attempting to help each of you transform out of the sense world, disconnect from these outer sense lures, and instead use your senses to go inward and feel some magic that you get to keep with you when the body goes. Because Ayurveda wants that, we do like vegetarianism, but we always see these two questions: for whom and when. You can try it.
For whom and when.
So you can ask that for anything. 8 glasses of water a day. For whom and when. Don't bring me some 50-year-old premenopausal Kappa lady with like gigantic calf muscles from water retention and say 8 glasses of water a day. No, like it's not a good idea. Why is she going to try to put more water on? She's having trouble getting it off of her. Right? So there's no universal things. The paleo diet, the keto diet, the whatever diet, they're all just fads. But they capitalize on some pretty common eating problems in America, which is that we could all afford to like pay attention to what we're eating and stop eating out of fast food restaurants, right? So any diet is going to be somewhat successful for Americans. By the way, the three tastes that are heating are sour, salty, and pungent. So if you're a fire type, a pure fire type like me, or Audra, then sour, salty, and spicy hot, we can have them, but they sure look like a problem if we're like always bothered, always hot above the collarbones. Everyone could be doing something better, especially our partner in life or the person driving in front of us. It's a problem. And we're not making it better. So sour, salty, pungent. The cooling foods are bitter, astringent, and sweet. So most hot-headed people crave sugar. And you'll find everywhere in tropical countries, all people, but especially the hot-headed people, sucking on sugarcane, drinking coconuts. That's all I ever want. I dream of that day. I dream of that day, that tropical land. What other questions do you have about food choices?
Whatever they want to like, try to figure out what it is, but I could just, it's all related. But
So you have acid reflux sometimes.
yeah, but it's also just anxiety related too. So I can't exactly where it is. I can't figure out.
Great.
Yeah.
So do you mind coming here?
Okay.
Okay, watch her walk, see her. Okay, beautiful creature, unique creature. How old are you? Okay, body is changing. She's still 0 to 30 is the growing phase, 30 to 60 is the midlife phase, 60 to 90 or whatever is the going home phase. If we just break them in 3 chunks, okay? Different for every person, but really generic. But she's still developing and growing. Hormones are still coming in. All right, so this is Anna. And she's learning about her belly, and she gets belly pain. And when she recognizes some of it is anxiety, nervous related, But this is a fire thing, acid reflux. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You notice she gets breakouts on her skin, right? There's also fire related, the oily quality. It doesn't match with the dry quality of a classic space air type. Classic space air type, you see like really narrow set eyes, really small nose, really thin lips. She doesn't have those. Okay? The skin's really dry. She doesn't have those. So there's definitely fire in her too, quite a bit. We all need all 6 tastes, and everyone can have some of the pungent taste, some of the sour taste. But it's what are your go-to foods? And that's one of the things that when you go home and over the 10 days go, it's about shelving what was the past and creating a new direction forward. What's my go-to way to eat? In the modern American culture, if you have a job, you know, generally it's good to have a pressure cooker, and it's good to have a couple restaurants where you know you can count on a good $10 lunch. And for most adults, if you have those 2 things, you can really change your life. Some people don't have the money to do $10 lunch. I get that. So there are even places where you can probably find reasonably good $5 lunch. Or you might just have to really commit to making some basic food in the morning and taking it with you. And that is the biggest change going forward, is fresh food on a daily basis. Fresh food on a daily basis. You can have leftovers maybe the next day, but does anyone ever look forward to leftovers? It's basically canned food. It's reheated. There are some things you can bring back to life easier. That dal, for example, and rice, you could eat again the next day. But for Anna's acid reflux, without doing full health history or all of those things, the most important things are that you have developed enough personal confidence outside of your relationship to your boyfriend, where you are happy as yourself. And you're not reactive to how happy he is or how your relationship is going, but that is sacred and intact. If you have enough self-worth and enough sense of stability in and of yourself, it doesn't matter what's going on for him. That's first and primary. Your home has to be happy and healthy and sacred. Then with food, notice when you're hungry, develop real hunger, and when you do, make sure you put food on it. But let's start with like 2 handfuls for you. It's liquidy and juicy. And then see how it goes down. Can you remember those things?
Yeah.
Smoothie is okay, but smoothie can be cold. So Anna's a great example. Like, and she's like being vulnerable because Anna, we're talking Anna's life right now, right? We're not talking like anyone else's life. Okay. So that means she gets like the most like feedback going forward. So smoothies can be okay or can not be okay. One of the problems with smoothies is most Americans have them like preventatively. Like there's not really hunger yet. It's just, I'm gonna have a smoothie in the morning. If you're camping and you wanna make a fire, when do you put the big log on the fire?
When you have a good base of coals.
It's like burning, okay? And if you don't have a good base of cold, do you put like wet logs on there?
Nope.
So the problem with a smoothie for someone who has GI tract issues is that a smoothie is definitely cool and damp. So we want you to have hunger and then put something easily digestible on there, which a smoothie is not, especially if you mix a lot of different things in a blender. So if you want to do juice in the morning, then let's start with that. Or if you want something even more appropriate to this time, let's make the smoothie really simple. Like almond milk, if you don't want to do dairy milk. Medjool dates, you got to take the seed out. But heat the almond milk. Medjool dates, And you can put some root herb in there. We like shatavari, but maca is the cool one now. But we like shatavari for you. Cardamom seed, saffron, and magic mineral, powerful super herbs. There's your smoothie. It's hot. And it's cloudy. And it's the same tastes all together, not all different kinds of tastes blended. Not kale, raw kale is not edible, by the way. So mixed with almond milk, not like 7 different things, peanut butter. No, don't do that. Make it simple and give your body a chance. But I like even just fruit. Whatever is seasonal fruit, just eat that. It was right there. It's God's gift to us. Just have it. Right now in Colorado, it's apple season. Apple is astringent, which isn't the best for you. So you could have the pressed apple juice and you could heat it up in the morning. You could put warming herbs that you probably have already, like cinnamon and cloves. Making sense? But don't also blend in like a bunch of other stuff. Like simplify your food. But don't have so much in the morning that you're not hungry for lunch. Because we want you hungry for lunch. So this meal that we had today is something that's like easily done in a pressure cooker. The dal and the rice. You can put them together in one pot, and it's called khichdi. And you can make it literally in 5 minutes. Wash the rice. The dal, you have left it sitting out overnight, so it like naturally ferments. It gets the bacteria and stuff from the air. And you wash it a bunch till all those bubbles. You want to put a lot of water, right? All the bubbles come out of the dal. And the split lentils are easier to digest. If it's a whole bean, it's harder. It's already split, it's easier. That makes sense? So you have that. And healthy beans, you gotta soak them, and then you dump that water out, rinse them, let more water bubbles come, change. Then you put it in there. This is dal means bean. Red split lentils. Super easy. You can buy it on Amazon. Okay. You can get them in bulk, but let's be honest, who knows? I mean, I'd go someplace where there's like a lot of turnover. I worked at Whole Foods spreading those wild oats back in the day.
I know a good Indian. That's where I got it all. Like Indian store. If anybody needs to know where it is here in town, I'll let you know.
Yeah, go to groceries where there's good volume, including Indian groceries, by the way. They can be the worst offenders. Beans, rice also is washed. You have your different proportions according to body type. Then you have your different herbs according to your constitution. So Simon's in good shape now, but if Simon stopped doing yoga, stopped walking, stopped doing stuff with his partner, he could easily gain weight. In which case he needs to really lower the rice quantity. Make sense? The protein he can have, but he needs to put more vegetables in there, more green vegetables. Just using him as an example. Then our last thing before we go home early for tonight is spices. Spices are essential. And our spices are dead and old. Buy the whole seeds from a farm. You can do it nowadays. It's so easy. It's the glory of the internet. Buy your seeds, a pound of them at a time, the ones that your body type needs, and grind them when you're going to use them. If you buy ground herbs, they might be, in the best case scenario, 3 years old at Whole Foods. By the time that farm grew them, they sent them to a plant that grinds them. They went to the wholesale for that. They went to Whole Foods regional distribution, and then they sat in Whole Foods. They might be 3 years old. And all herbs are air, light, and temperature dependent. And the more light it is, the more of it's a leaf or a flower, even more so. Root herbs, of course, last longer, right? Look at a tree and we are the same. If I was a tree, you would only see from here up. So the roots of the trees are the earth.
Trunk.
Trunk, by the time you get up here, it's the space in the air, the leaves and the flowers. That transformational stuff on the inside, that's the fire water. So that's how to, your basic thing with herbs. It's really simple with herbs. You can say CCF.
CCF.
Coriander,
Coriander.
cumin,
Cumin.
fennel.
Fennel.
These are the 3 American popular herbs we have that are good for fire types. Coriander, cumin, and fennel, because they're all cooling. They're digestive aids, which are cooling. Coriander is cilantro. So the fresh green is called cilantro, but the seed is called coriander. In India, they just call it earth coriander. And in India, cumin and fennel. These are all cooling. There's some other ones. Tarragon, but it's not as popular. Fire types are the ones that have to be the most careful with spices. Earth types and Vata types, space air types, they can have most of the spices. They really can. Skinny, mini, teeny, tiny people have to be careful of not drying up. So not too many really spicy things, because it'll dry them up. When you're making your dal needs something spicy in it. You have to put at least a little bit of chili or mustard seed or something in beans. You have to temper them. You have to temper beans. So even fire types have to put a little bit of chili, mustard seed, something like that in beans. They're hard to digest otherwise for anybody. Fresh ginger. So glad Audra mentioned it. Fresh ginger, great for fire types. Dry ginger, kind of caustic. We love fresh ginger. And then the last thing we leave for tonight, everyone should have fresh ground turmeric. Turmeric and ginger, these are the 2 most valuable herbs on the planet. You don't have turmeric that when you smell it, it's like, whoa. Then buy a pound from Mountain Rose or Banyan or any of the things on Amazon. No need. Turmeric is fine on its own.
Oh, okay.
Turmeric, all dried, all powdered herbs have to be brought back to life, right? So you got to cook them in water or cook them in milk. Seeds get popped in oil. So when we made the dal, I don't know what else she used, probably coconut oil or maybe cooking version of olive oil. You put seeds that are going to pop, mustard seeds, cumin seeds. You can put cardamom in some dishes. And that's where you put the red chili, the dried red chilies. But you take the seed pods out of the dried red chilies. You put those in there and you wait for the seeds to pop. And that's how they infuse the oil with their mineral content. The seed pod, those spices, they have the mineral essence of the plant, right? Just like our sex cells have our mineral essence. So healthy vegetarians need, especially in a cold culture, to eat cooked food. And they need well-spiced food. And in healthy vegetarian cultures, it's usually some grandmother is cooking in the morning. And they're preparing food. And then people have that food to eat. Now we can recreate that here in our culture. And it's called like, let's get back together again. Like nothing wrong with like making peace with the relatives or your neighbors and take turns and get together. And I also encourage you to find what's local in your area that you'll easily go to, near your office, near your work, near your home, where you, when you walk in, someone greets you with a smile. When you walk in, you smile. And when you look back in the kitchen and the cooks, they're also smiling. They're not listening to like death metal or misogynistic rap music, smoking right outside in the back alley and talking about how much they hate their job. It's important. This is my like, the quintessential food talk, okay? Did you enjoy the food?
Yes.
You can literally learn to make that in 20 minutes. Not the beetroot side dish, not the chutney, but you can learn to make the dal. Wasn't just the dal and rice tasty?
Yeah.
You can, what's that? So you're gonna just use a pressure cooker So when you put the stuff in there, you walk away from the pressure cooker, that only took like 1 minute to like, and then it keeps getting older and older and older and deader and deader and deader. So leftover food, let's say for 1 day next. Okay, we have to be practical. 1 day next, and reheat it and put some fresh ginger and fresh turmeric in it to bring it back alive. If you're like kind of not super happy to eat the thing, why are you going to put it in there? Now, some people have to because they have really physical jobs and they just don't have the money or whatever. I get that. We can survive on canned food. But if you have a choice and you're not smiling, don't put it in your mouth. You know, wait, something better will turn up. But after you use the pressure cooker, so rice takes 10 minutes. Basmati rice, jasmine rice, any white rice is super easy and absorbent. Brown rice is a lot heavier, doesn't absorb as well. It does have more protein, but it's not as easily digestible. White rice is fine. Dal has plenty of protein in it, all-spice dal. You're gonna cook the dal in the rice, and then you can put all of that in your cooking pot where you've tempered your seed pods and your chilies, and then you're stirring in sauteed vegetables of your choice. Making sense? And that process takes about 15 minutes. You've all done that before. You've just prepped the bean rice material ahead of time. And then you transfer it over into your cooking pot. You can even, in a lot of pressure cookers, just keep it in the same pot.
I think there's a new pressure cooker out called an Instapot. I haven't used one yet, but do you have one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We make kitchen.
And it's a pressure cooker, and younger women are really raving about them.
They're great to cook beans in, dal, khichdi, all of it.
Yeah.
It's porridge, oatmeal.
Or at least that's where I've heard it being raved about. Was
Yeah.
women about your age.
Yeah, it is. It's great. You just throw it all in there, and it stays warm all day. It can be like a crock pot too. It's nice.
So it's 10 till 9. We're going to end early. Tomorrow we start at 7:30 with yoga. Please be on time. I have to drive like 30, 40 minutes to get here. So,
Yeah.
and we're going to talk about parking.
Yeah, so side note about that, if you're not from Littleton, or you are from Littleton, it is not fun parking around here. There are most of the streets are 2-hour parking. I would say maybe just plan on parking a little farther out so you don't have to worry about it, moving your car all day because you're going to miss part of the classes or whatever. This alley here, there looks like there's parking places right there, but the Elks will just throw a fit, and this courtyard is not available either. So, if
Tracy, where is the long-term parking where people can park?
there's like a couple. If you go a couple blocks out, so this is Curtis here.
Mm-hmm.
If you go almost to where you can't go anymore, there's a school there. So some people park in the school lot. It's going to be Saturday, so it's fine. But I believe there's some not 2-hour parking on Curtis. There's also. Is it school time? Okay.
So I sit around.
Yeah. There's been some other people that park at the light rail, which is a few blocks away. I think more people are catching on to that though, because it looks packed all the time. But again, we're getting here at 7:30, so you'll have like first, the first places there. So yeah. But I wouldn't even bother because you're gonna miss class, or you're gonna take a chance on getting farther out, or
They
you
do
can't.
enforce it. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's a $31 ticket.
It was like last night.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
6.
And it doesn't start until 9, but again, we're going.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way: if you're going to be here all day, I would not do the 2-hour thing. It's gonna.
So you all have the information. The light rail station is a few blocks away. So that sounds like the way to go. Or there's a school at
Or
the
the
end of
community
Curtis.
college, or after the community college.
It's on Prince and no, it's across the street. Prince.
ACC.
Yeah.
Did everyone catch that? You're saying where the light rail station
Yeah,
is?
Prince and Alamo.
Prince and Alamo
Prince.
light rail station. Then
Is everybody, who's all coming tomorrow? Everyone?
yeah, so we'll be collective together, and ideally be here on your mat, ready to go early, 7:30 in the morning. It's early. This is a huge commitment. I realize that. It's worth it. It's just like anything else. If you can prioritize being here, being early, being ready, we'll go over the healthy daily routine. I don't remember which one of us is teaching it, but basically it's do more early in the morning. So that's basically the healthy daily routine.
And feel free to leave your yoga mats here. I mean,
It's just
we're pretty much closed for the week, so if you want to leave your stuff in.
there is one more